The Super Mario Brothers movie has smashed a global record. And I'm seeing all of these people on the right saying the movie did it because it was anti-woke, which is really strange to me because the narrative for the longest time was that the movie was woke girl boss feminism garbage. Ahoy, my friends, there be spoilers ahead because I went and saw the movie, and I'm just going to come right out and say it. What? When I saw this tweet from Steven Crowder, he says the anti-woke Super Mario Brothers movie just set a global record. I thought to myself, I don't believe Steven Crowder has actually seen the movie. And when I saw this tweet, I thought to myself, well, the first thing I thought was, is it really anti-woke? Well, it's weird because all I've heard about it is that it is woke, right? Perhaps the issue is conservatives don't want to admit that a woke film made a bunch of money, especially broke a record, when the narrative tends to be get woke, go broke. Well, as I often say, get woke, go broke is not a law, but it's more of a tendency. And when you're dealing with one of the most popular pieces of intellectual property in human history, Mario Brothers, it's bound to make a bunch of money. So here's what I did. I went to go see the movie because I think it is particularly culturally relevant. Now, to be honest, I didn't really want to see the movie a little bit. I like Mario. I grew up playing Mario. I'm interested in seeing how they could do this movie, considering back in the 90s, they made some weird movie. So warning, spoilers, but I'll just say it right now. After going and watching the movie, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how woke the movie is, I'd give it a 6. Meaning it's fairly woke, right? It is in line with what you'd expect from feminist, leftist perspectives in movie writing. That is to say, and I'll give you, I'm going to go into an in-depth review of the movie, but I'll show you the news first and the context of this in terms of the culture war. The film is basically, girl boss, Mario's stupid, Luigi's in a cage the whole time, Mario's completely incompetent, and it's only because of Peach's great leadership that anything actually happens. In fact, there's a point in the movie where Peach literally says Mario is nobody and they cheer. Like, simply put, Mario breaks into the palace, then Princess Peach is like, you're a human, but you're so small. And I'm like, well, that's like, what would you call that, little person phobic? But anyway, I digress. Then when she says, we're going to fight Bowser, which is a totally unrelated story to Mario, and I'll go through this in depth after I read this. Everyone's like, who's that guy? And she goes, nobody. And they go, yay. And it's like, hold on. Wait, what? Like, even with Luke Skywalker, his story matters. The hero's journey matters. In this movie, Mario doesn't matter at all. The story is about Princess Peach. I think she gets half of the screen time about. And Mario's story in this is ancillary to the main plot, which follows Princess Peach. Now, first, let's talk about the culture war and why the story matters, and then I'll talk to you in depth about the movie. Huffington Post writes, some right-wingers claim Super Mario Bros. Movie's success is because it's anti-woke. The movie had the biggest box office opening of 2023, and some conservatives think they know why. They're going to mention that it made a bunch of money. John Leguizamo is pissed off because they cast white actors to play white characters. Okay. He said they didn't include any Latin character. Oh, bro, we get it. You want to be Luigi. Well, here's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk says Mario Bros. Just grossed $377 million, a new record for animated features, despite John Leguizamo, I think it's Leguizamo, boycotting the film because it messed up the inclusion, casting 2 white men, Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, as the Italian-American leads. Nintendo refused to let Mario Bros. Go woke. Incorrect. Just outright incorrect. I don't think Charlie saw the movie. And again, when I saw this, I was like, I didn't believe it. But I didn't see the movie, so I was like, well, I'm not going to comment. And then I went and saw the movie, and now I'm like, okay, these people are all wrong. Jack Posobiec, Charlie Kirk, Crowder, all wrong. Others piled on. Jack Posobiec says, the original creator of Mario, Miyamoto, was heavily involved with the production of the animated film and insisted that it have as little plot as possible and just feel like one of the games. It has no woke narratives, and all the characters are exactly like the original games. Not true at all. Literally at all. Now, you can make the argument they adapted it to the best of their abilities to be in line with, considering the video games have limited narrative as it is, you could argue it makes sense, but I'm going to argue it doesn't, and I'll explain after I show you more. The Liz variant, I'm not familiar, says, it's hard to find movies to see with kids that aren't woke and full of brainwashing trash. Super Mario Brothers was good. Now look, I'm not saying the movie was bad. Not by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I laughed quite a bit. I did roll my eyes at the woke stuff that was in it. And I'll put it this way. I have seen movies described as woke that were substantially less woke than this. But I'll explain. There's Crowder. I already mentioned his tweet. The stir left some people confused. And this is why I think this segment matters in the context of the culture war. One person said, wait, stop, hold on. Now Super Mario Bros. Isn't woke? Weren't these chuds marching up and down declaring it was woke trash because Princess Peach was shown to be competent? Competent is an understatement as to what that movie did. Princess Peach was Invincible, a kung fu master with superpowers who trains Mario, and Mario fails every step of the way. And after Mario fails, she says, you were close enough, I guess. No kidding. Mario fails. And then she's like, well, I couldn't train you, sorry, but I guess we'll bring you anyway. And then when people are like, who's this guy with you? She goes, he's nobody. No joke, literal plot point. But let's read more. Chris Taylor says, do you ever have any other thoughts, or are they all like this? Referencing Charlie Kirk. I guess that it's like Bud Light still selling beer, even though crybabies like Kid Rock and Travis Tritt are boycotting them. The funny thing is, they will lie, or they'll live in their bubble world. I only take a look at the stock price, which is an objective metric showing it's going down. There's probably a correlation between the controversy, considering other beer brands are going up. And then I take a look at statements from individuals who run liquor stores who are saying they're getting rid of it. John Rich, who said that he stopped moving product and they're going to replace it at his honky tonk in downtown Nashville, which is like a music bar restaurant. And we got to get back out to Nashville. I got to head back out there. I'm really excited about, hanging out at John Rich's place. Great guy. But these people are outright saying this thing happened. And so I can take a look at that and say those are biased metrics when someone like John Rich says nobody's buying Budweiser. Maybe sales are down, probably. But I take a look at the stock price it is. These people will just lie and say it's not. In this instance, I think a bunch of conservative personalities want to maintain the get woke, go broke narrative. And there is a popular, it's a popular right-wing thing to say that Mario Brothers was not woke. Therefore, that proves its success. Incorrect. Absolutely. What was anti-woke about it? One person asks. One person says that it wasn't woke. You're either with or against the woke mob, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back in time. We have this from Sportskeeda. Not super familiar with this website, but from November 30th, 2022. Quote, giving us a girl boss and a pathetic meow meow man. New Super Mario Brothers movie trailer sparks meme fest online. And this, I read this and I'm like, that was the movie I saw. I don't know if anybody else saw a different movie, but this is the movie that I saw. And I'm going to give you a big breakdown. I'm kind of dragging out talking about the movie stuff because I want people to understand the cultural context before I introduce the massive spoilers. But in this story, they say a new trailer for Mario Brothers, giving a glimpse of the movie. The trailer was released, blah, blah, blah. Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong. The trailer features more of the film's plot and the universe it's set in. It elaborates on the story, blah, blah, blah. The colorful trailer spread a ton of reactions with people saying that it portrays Luigi as a damsel in distress. That is true and correct. So let's just jump right in. The movie starts with the fake Italian accent of the Mario Brothers. That's right. They're not actually Italian. They're Italian American, and the accent is fake. It was for a commercial because they've left Wrecking Crew. Awesome video game reference, by the way. Wrecking Crew was fun. Mario goes around smashing lockers and brick walls. And they've started their own company. Their own company is Super Mario Brothers Plumbing, and they have no customers. They've risked their entire life savings on this, and unfortunately for them, they screw it up. Their first client, they fail because a dog gets mad and destroys everything, and they look really bad. They go home and Mario told that he's a failure who's dragging his own brother down. In fact, the funny thing is they mention the costumes they're wearing were uniforms they made for a trademark of their new business, and they get made fun of for having white gloves and wearing goofy outfits. And Mario says, you got to have a trademark. And yes, Chris Pratt does not have an Italian accent. He's just a young dude who lives with his parents, must be in his 20s, I guess, because he lives at home and he plays Nintendo. He's playing video games. It was cool to see a Kid Icarus reference. I like that. And so I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, they're going through an origin story. It is, Mario's struggling. And then what ends up happening is there's a major water main break. And he thinks this is my opportunity to prove that, we're good plumbers, which is like, okay, something to be. You want to save the city because you're a plumber. Totally get it if you could. And they accidentally get sucked down into a sewer where they discover a great green pipe that sends them into the mushroom world, whatever universe Mario lives in. Unfortunately, Luigi and Mario holding hands get broken apart and Luigi flies into the Darklands, ruled by Bowser. And Mario lands in the Mushroom Kingdom where he meets Toad. The movie moves rather quickly, and that's fine because it's only an hour and a half long, and it is a kid's movie, so I have no issue with that. Luigi, in the Darklands, is captured and basically put in a cage, and he's a damsel in distress the whole time. Now, that I kind of took issue with because Luigi is portrayed throughout various movies as being goofy, silly, and scared, but still player 2. Instead, in this movie, he's an ancillary character who doesn't really do anything until the very end. And I'm like, well, that's a bummer because he's player 2. When you play the Mario Brothers, it's like you get Mario, you get Luigi. It was really cool how they show the power-ups. Mario eats a mushroom and grows. He touches a fire flower, and then his clothes change. I think that was really cool. Princess Peach does as well. Here's where the movie is totally woke. Mario breaks into the palace to meet Princess Peach because he needs help rescuing his brother from Bowser. Princess Peach is an excellent commander and leader, and for some reason a princess when there's no queen. I guess they haven't explained that. And everyone's like, Princess, what should we do? When Mario meets her, she immediately insults him for being so small. Are you really a human? And it's like, okay, kind of insulting to little people, but sure. I guess that was the one anti-inverse woke thing, I guess, being somewhat offensive in that regard. But anyway, Princess Peach says, we're going to go fight Bowser because Bowser got the superstar, which makes him invincible, and he's heading this way. She thinks Bowser wants to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. In fact, Bowser just wants to marry her. Very limited plot there. Here's the issue. When Princess Peach says, okay, Mario, I'll consider bringing you along on my journey. This is literally it. Mario says, my brother is in the Darklands. What do I do? She says, well, Bowser's coming to fight us, and I have to go to the Jungle Kingdom to get the help of the Kongs. I guess if you can pass the training course, I'll let you come on my journey. It's an adventure of Princess Peach, not Mario. Mario's there by accident, and he's scared. He's worried about his brother. That's fine, I guess. Princess Peach brings Mario to the training course, where it looks like Mario 1. A bunch of platforms where he runs, and they're not fireballs, they're sponge balls or something that are spinning around. And so Princess Peach says, I'll show you how it's done. She then runs the whole course, which looks like an advanced Mario Brothers level for, players who they do these speedrun videos where it's like impossible to get through and it's crazy looking. She jumps on a bunch of bullet bills. She makes it to the end with no power-ups, grabs the flag, spins down, and then, fanfare plays. And she goes, it's that easy. And then he's like, well, let me try. Again, Mario has no Italian accent. He then says, how is it possible for me to do any of this? And she goes, with power-ups. She then gives him a mushroom. He eats it. He goes, and he grows. And then he fails over and over and over again. Finally, after a montage, he's running through the course. He's jumping. He's punching bricks. And you're like, there we go. This is Mario. And then he fails again. And you're like, okay. And the music's playing like I Need a Hero or whatever. And then she's like, well, are you ready to go? And Mario's like, but I'm a failure and I couldn't do it. And she goes, well, you're right, but I guess we have no choice. And I'm just like, huh? Like, it should be Mario. Here's what the story should have been, in my opinion. Mario coming into his abilities. In the beginning of the movie, we see Mario running and jumping and vaulting over fences and sliding down poles. And you're like, wow, he's actually really good. They're making a point in the beginning of the movie that Mario is actually good at running and jumping and climbing. But as soon as he gets into the Mushroom Kingdom, all of that goes away. He's incompetent, and Princess Peach is actually the one on the adventure, not him. So what happens? Well, they go to Donkey Kong's kingdom, the jungle country or jungle kingdom or whatever. And then Cranky Kong says, we are not giving you an army to help fight Bowser. We don't care. And then Mario says, we're not leaving without an army. And he goes, if you can defeat my son Donkey, then I'll give you my army. Mario gets pummeled and mercilessly beaten by Donkey Kong, who says, I won't use power-ups because I don't need them. Mario, on the verge of losing, is punched super hard into the air and then gets a cat suit. And then using the cat suit defeats Donkey Kong. The issue I have with this is that the entire movie, Mario is incapable of doing anything. He's weak, he can't fight, and it's only when given power-ups does he stand a chance. Princess Peach, not so much. She's a kung fu master. She actually fights Bowser and keeps him on his toes. And then, well, let's get into that. Mario defeats Donkey Kong, who then says, I let you in. They team up, they become friends. And then say, let's take a shortcut to the Mushroom Kingdom using the Rainbow Road. They all get in go-karts. They're riding, and then Bowser says, they want to ambush me, I'll ambush them. And then Bowser ambushes them, blows up a part of the Rainbow Road using a blue shell. A blue shell guy yells blue shell and then blows it up. Mario and Donkey Kong are then, unfortunately, washed away into the ocean where they're eaten by a giant eel. Princess Peach, however, escapes, rescuing Toad and says, let's get back to the kingdom. Princess Peach then gets to the kingdom and says we have to evacuate because Bowser's on his way here. They do. She then, wearing a motorcycle suit, takes up a spear, as you see in the trailer, flips it and catches it, walks outside, and then Bowser lands and says, he has Magic Koopa torture Toad, and then is like, if you don't surrender and marry me, I'll kill you, I'll hurt your friends. And he goes, no, fine, I surrender. And there's a scene where Princess Peach is standing on the balcony as Bowser's floating castle emerges, and she's standing there defiantly, and I was like, that's supposed to be Mario. Mario is supposed to be the one who stares down Bowser. It's not. It's Princess Peach. She then says, fine, I'll marry you if you don't hurt my toads. And he says, fine. And she gets in and she leaves willingly with Bowser. Mario, of course, is in the gut of a giant monster. And then they find wreckage from one of the go-karts, and him and Donkey Kong blast out of there and ride a rocket ship off into the sunset or something like that. It then cuts back to Princess Peach about to marry Bowser. And then Peach says, did you really think I'd marry you? Toad then gives her an ice flower, where she then jumps in the air, ninja kicks Bowser in the face, freezes him with a bunch of ice balls, freezes the chains where Luigi's being lowered into lava, saving the day for the most part. Donkey Kong and Mario then arrive, and using power-ups, it is a pretty cool scene when Donkey Kong grabs the fire flower and then starts throwing fireballs. It's cool to see. Mario eats a mushroom, gets big, then they, fight their way through. And then they get to the top. And then Princess Peach, who is basically holding off Bowser with her ice powers and blows up King Bob-omb and basically, saves the day. The ice cracks on the chain and Luigi's about to die, quite literally a few feet from lava. And then and then Donkey Kong reverses it. Mario saves Luigi. But really, I think this is Princess Peach's story because, she's the one who is invincible and never actually fails at any point of the movie, and Mario and Luigi are only there because an accident happened. That's it. So in the end, people have said, yes, but Mario and Luigi saved the day. Sort of. What happens in the end is Bowser, angry that Princess Peach freezes him and disrupts the wedding, says, fire the bullet bill and destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario then whacks the bullet bill in the eye, causing it to get angry and chase after him instead, which he leads into the pipe back to Brooklyn, which causes a massive explosion and sucks everyone into Brooklyn. And then Bowser beats the living crap out of Mario, and Mario is hiding inside a building thinking, I'm going to give up. I can't do anything. I'm powerless. He couldn't punch. He couldn't jump. He couldn't do anything. Then he sees his commercial of him and his brother as superheroes wearing capes, and he walks outside and he goes, let's go. For some reason saying let's go. And then what ends up happening is Princess Peach she grabs a turtle shell and hits the superstar over to Mario, and Bowser goes, no, that's mine. And then Mario jumps for it, and then Bowser breathes fire, but then all of a sudden Luigi blocks it with a sewer lid and says, as long as we're together, nothing can hurt us. And then Mario and Luigi both jump and grab the star, becoming invincible, and then they defeat Bowser. And so I hear this argument, we were all talking about this afterwards, and I've seen the people writing online, that in the end, Mario and Luigi saved the day. And I'm like, well, first and foremost, Princess Peach was the one who was fighting Bowser the whole time, who was leading the people. Mario was a nobody who was incapable of doing anything. He was the goofy sidekick who kept going, whoa, and failing. Look at the trailer. The scene which stood out to me is when we're on the Mario Karts, and they lose. Mario loses and then falls into the ocean, and he goes, wow! And it's like, okay, I guess Mario just can't do anything right. Luigi wasn't even here. He was in a cage the whole time. Princess Peach, however, could do no wrong. She's the noble leader who sacrifices herself to save her people. She then quickly turns on Bowser, jumps in the air, ninja kicks his face, throws an ice ball at him, freezing him, and then stopping the chains from dropping Luigi to his death. And I was just like, okay, we get it. She has superpowers the whole time. She tries to train Mario, but Mario fails. She says he's a nobody. Mario can't do anything right. And only in the end does he succeed because Peach gives him invincibility. So I didn't see Mario in this as the titular hero. I saw him as an ancillary sidekick who, sure, the movie starts with him, but quickly diverts away into Princess Peach's story. Now, what a lot of people have said is, no, it's anti-woke because Princess Peach has always been a hero? Luigi's always been a damsel in distress? This is not true. First, let's start with the origins of Mario. Princess Peach is quite literally the trope of a damsel in distress. She's captured by Bowser. Mario then has to go and search all these different castles until he can find her. That's Mario 1. In fact, the story, I believe, was that Bowser kidnapped Princess Peach and turned the mushroom people into bricks. No joke. And that Mario is punching bricks because they carry items to help him. I'm not kidding. I think that's what the story was. But it doesn't need to be that way. Because starting with Super Mario Bros. 2, which was originally called, I think, Doki Doki Island Panic, you were able to... so here's what happened, long story short. This game, I think it was called Doki Doki Island Panic, was going to be released in Japan. I think it was released in Japan. And the actual Super Mario Bros. 2 was just like the first game, but it was very difficult. And it was considered punishing by the American game developers and distributors. By the distributors, I'm sorry. And so they said, well, we need to release a second Mario title. So they took this game called Doki Doki Island Panic, which introduced Shy Guys and Birdo, and they changed the characters to be Mario, Luigi, Princess, and Toad, because there were 4 characters you could choose from that have different strengths. Luigi moved kind of slowly, but could jump really high. Mario was basically average, run, jump. You pull weeds and stuff and throw radishes. Princess Peach was fairly weak, took her a long time to lift things, but she could glide. And Toad couldn't jump that high, but could pull things really quickly. These characters were all playable. This created the idea that ever since Mario 2, Princess Peach was not just a damsel in distress, she was also a valiant character in her own right. However, she's still very much wearing a dress, and she still very much is a damsel in distress, because it turns out that game was all a dream. In Mario 3, once again, Princess Peach is captured and says, help me. In Super Mario World, once again, Princess Peach is captured and says, help me. Now, of course, in Mario RPG and these other games, you could start to play Princess Peach, and she was available. I don't think Luigi was in Mario RPG, though. Pretty sure he wasn't, which is kind of weird. But you can play Princess Peach, and she's actually a pretty good character, but a healer. And then you can get the... What is the shell you get? The lazy shell, which makes her like basically invincible. So anyway, here's the point. Princess Peach has never been a ninja warrior who was more capable than Mario. She was capable and fierce in her own right and defiant. Yes, she would get kidnapped by Bowser, but she wasn't completely helpless. She would stand on her own to varying degrees, but yes, she was the damsel in distress. That's the story of Mario. The movie that they made shows Mario and Luigi to both be, to varying degrees, incompetent. Mario's considered a failure by his father, who's dragging his brother down. He tries to stop a flood in Brooklyn, but gets sucked in the Mushroom Kingdom, where he's separated from his brother. He fails once again. Couldn't get the job done. He then tries to train and jump. Can't do that either. Fails. He gets a mushroom and gets a power-up. Still fails. He only defeats Donkey Kong in battle because he gets a cat suit. Okay, fine, I guess. That's my point. I do not see this movie as anti-woke. I see it as actually fairly woke. You want to make a movie where Princess Peach is not a damsel in distress? I got no problem with that. None whatsoever. You want to make a movie about that follows maybe a teammate storyline with Donkey Kong, Toad, Mario, Luigi? I'm like totally fine with this. But why make Mario goofy and incompetent? Why make Luigi completely incompetent as well? Luigi, if you want to go back, and this is what people are claiming, they're like, you could play Princess Peach in Mario 2. It's like, yeah, you could play Luigi as well. And Luigi was a competent character in his own strengths. Luigi was equal to Mario in the first one. Well, in Smash Brothers, you can play Luigi as well. And I think in Melee, Luigi was one of the best characters. They made him silly. They made him goofy. They make him his own character in his own right. He's a little bit taller than Mario. He's a little bit scared. He has his own video games. He does his own thing. But in this movie, I was really disappointed to see that he was just locked in a cage the whole time. And so here's what you get. Mario and Luigi are accidentally in the Mushroom Kingdom. Princess Peach is trying to fight a war against the evil Bowser, who really just wants to marry her. She sacrifices herself to save the kingdom, but then defies Bowser with an ice flower and fights back, almost saving the day. And technically, she probably could have. Mario then causes the problems in the first place by having the Bullet Bill chase him into a pipe to blow up Brooklyn. He shouldn't have done that. Whoops, that's Mario's fault. So this is what I'll say. I don't think the movie was overtly the wokest thing I've ever seen. But the idea from all these people that I'm seeing that it was somehow anti-woke just makes literally no sense to me. It's basically like Star Wars. It's like The Last Jedi. Princess Peach, no harm ever comes to her. She never loses a fight. That's the crazy thing. Someone even pointed out online that in the end, when she does get captured, first of all, she doesn't lose the fight. She willfully surrenders on the balcony saying, "Don't hurt my people and I will surrender. I will marry you." And it's like, okay, so Toad is tortured. And this follows the woke feminist tropes that she is naturally talented. She's a strong, capable fighter. She's noble and honorable. No harm comes to her, and she never loses. She chooses to go with Bowser. He doesn't kidnap her. I mean, technically you could say he did, but she chooses it for the betterment of her people. And then when she's supposed to marry Bowser, she defies him and wins, freezing him, incapacitating him, and then stopping the chains from dropping, which Donkey Kong then eventually reverses. So I just saw that like, okay, I get it. It's the Peach movie. It's a movie about Peach, not Mario. It's not an origin story for two fighters who are there to save the day and stop Bowser over and over and over again. It's about two guys who are there by accident, who kind of suck at everything, and only through the power of magic are they able to actually get anything done. Luke Skywalker is hated by magic, but the idea was that it was something within him. Iron Man, he builds a suit to make him strong, but it was within him. Captain America is given super soldier serum, hurrah! But it was only because he had a noble spirit, which was embiggened by the super soldier serum. Mario sucks. He sucks. He fails. And he only finally beats Bowser because Bowser loses his superstar. Mario becomes invincible and then stops Bowser. That is to say, in the end, there is nothing inherently strong about Super Mario. He was weak and failed the whole time, and every step of the way got mercilessly beaten or fell into the water and was eaten by an eel. It is only because other people gave him tools was he able to actually get anything done, which is to say, the power-ups are a bigger component than Mario is. The real hero was the superstar. In the end, we learned that Mario was irrelevant to the story because any person who grabbed that star could have defeated Bowser. It could have been Princess Peach, which is actually kind of funny. It makes no sense. When she gets captured, she grabs a turtle shell and hits the star, which flies over to Mario. She could have just grabbed the star, and then she'd be invincible. She's already a kung fu master who aced the obstacle course that Mario never did. So that's it. That's the end story. And what I hear is like, well, but it was a team thing. I'm like, dude, come on. If the story is about how Mario becomes the grand hero of his franchise, this was not it. All this was, like, in every Mario game, let's talk about Mario 64 or, Mario Galaxy or whatever. Mario doesn't accomplish things through power-ups. In Super Mario 64, Mario can punch and kick and jump and butt stomp without power-ups. In the movie, he can't do anything. He tries hitting Bowser and Donkey Kong, nothing happens. It's only when he's given a power-up is he capable. Princess Peach, however, jumps and ninja kicks Bowser in the face, stalling him out for a second, effectively causing him damage. Anyway, I'm not going to rant on this because it's already been a half an hour, but this is my point. My point in all of this is not to do a step-by-step review of the movie, but to point out that I'm just sick of the look, man, I like Charlie Kirk, I like Jack, I like Crowder. Of course, I think they're good dudes, but they didn't watch the movie. And all I see is them jumping on this narrative because it became the narrative for some reason. I don't understand why it is that these individuals decided this movie was not woke and then came out and said, this proves it. No, I'm going to say it like this. The movie was decently woke. I wouldn't call it the wokest thing in the world, but it was, fairly feminist. And if anybody is accepting those narratives, they're basically accepting the incompetent male and Mary Sue female storyline once again, just like The Last Jedi. I thought the movie was moderately entertaining, a lot of good jokes. I relatively enjoyed it, but I don't know, D-, C-ish. I was kind of... And the reviews are between 46% and 56%. So there are people coming out and saying it was anti-woke and it was great because it made money. I'm not playing that game. It made money because the Mario Brothers brand is powerful and it's a kid's movie. It was given an early release, a 5-day weekend, so of course it made a lot of money. It had a great opportunity. It was a holiday weekend as well, and I believe a bunch of kids were on Easter break. So yeah, perfect opportunity to release a kid's movie to make money, but if that's the message they want to send to kids, I'm saying we're losing because that ain't it. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. It'll probably be a bit more serious. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.